H1 will not pull this one out. He has one game on the Neferi, all split long. To Tarzan's 10. Role reversal, 2. Yep.
Make it a second
Boulder stacking
one.
is inevitable.
Oh boy,
Scuttle
Beitron.
Crab fight is inevitable here for Beitron as Tarzan playing the
it's
Trundle, one of the best 1v1 champions in the game. Beitron going to have to quit that flash at some point, but Tarzan's going to follow. Tarzan has first blood. We were looking for his early game impact.
Going to go down to AL very early on in this game. Elk getting a good amount of poke damage over onto Flandre, but he's still got flash. He's still going to be fine in this situation. Flandre, he's really not going to be a main...
BLG have, but they're not going to have Mound or Hex Tech. What does the response look like on the top side for BLG? They set up Beitron for the dive onto Flandre, get the first knockup. Flash is committed on both sides, but Beitron should be able to feed the pack. The Q slam down gets canceled though. Bin and Flandre. Flandre heals up. Enough damage comes across for Bin, and luckily he's taking enough to walk away from the turret, but that got a bit dicey. Hold on, Asher on the mid lane, gonna hit Knight. Great snipe comes across from Kyle, and they gift a kill back to Shanks. There's the playmaking.
And at support, you're just a little bit freer to step up, right? You're a little bit less worried about getting caught out. They're gonna keep putting the pressure on right now, although...
Here we go. Bin trying to line up a knock-up onto Hope. Remember, they have Fate's Call, though. Hope's going to try big on Kyle, but the handshake grabs Ion, and Hope is pulled right back into the wing. They're going to have a Realm Warp behind as well. There's no way out for Hope but a gray screen, and Knight's going to try and grab the kill. He's got to get it done with auto attacks, but this is Shanks. He's got to be a bit careful about this, but Tarzan, oh no, it's actually going to be Flandre. See,
okay,
he's angry about not getting the feast stack on the Herald, so he's like, all right.
He's going to get it on the Drake, yeah.
But here's the thing, right? This would be so point in about 16.5 minutes. Are BLG going to give this away? They don't have a 50-50 smite, so they're going to look for Hope again, who's without summoners. Beitron jumps on with the entire pack, and Hope's going to go down again. AL are trying to reap the rewards on the backside of the fight, but Beitron gets another reset, jumps forward with that Neferi ultimate. There comes the Cassio ultimate, though. Knocks Bin out of his decimating smash. So down goes Bin to the Petrifying Gaze here from Cassiopeia. Another pillar down. Slows Knight through. They're trying to build slows. They got a Cassiopeia and an Ashe. They can just stack slow after slow, but they don't have the range. Elk and Knight are trying to step up. Kyle goes flash with H1, but Elk is sectioned off. Nobody can help the Smolder, so he just tries to fight his way out. Gets one kill, sets up Knight, and now Shanks is going to have to flash out of the pit. Flandre follows as well. The golden left hand uplifts BLG. Ultimate, no. Shanks is able to back off, and Knight's TP might not even secure this top tier 1 turret. AL are in position to defend this, and Beitron can't face check that brush. Tarzan is waiting for you. Pillar gonna
working out for them. I'm not sure what they're trying to find for themselves in that bot lane jungle. They don't get the grub. They don't get themselves that blue buff either. Now they're going to lose their mid lane tower off the back of this Herald play. And AL, again, they're not having to make too many of these big proactive plays because BLG just keep jumping into them. It's only through having some great plays from Knight on that ulti and a very slippery champion in the Neferi that BLG are even able to get away from this one. The initial idea is fine. Try to get yourself a pick up in the top lane. Fine. But the second that it doesn't work, they needed to just back off. And instead, BLG, it seems like once they commit, oh boy, have they committed.
It's just setting the trap, right? That's the AL bread and butter against
Control
BLG.
of the pace of the game when you pick yourself up the initial couple of Drakes. You can make this choice to just leave the next Drake. Who cares? It's their first one. You pick yourself up a top lane tower, you grab yourself the Atakan as well, and you're going to be more than happy with this as a trade.
Don't play into BLG's strength, their wheelhouse of wanting to fight over these do-or-die objectives. Instead, play the Anyone's Legend game.
Elk, as we see a snap decision to go straight on towards the Baron.
BLG know this is happening. Baron at about half HP. They're starting to scramble. They TP in Bin, and all of a sudden we might have our first 5v5 on our hands as On takes a bit of damage here, about half HP, but Tarzan in the same spot. Unstoppable Onslaught does hit on the Kyle. Great Fate Seal, though. Hope gets them out. Here's the hostile takeover. It does not get Beitron the steal. Tarzan secures Baron, and now AL can turn their attention towards the fight if they want it. Trying to slow up Knight, but boy, does he pump out the damage. Kyle, blinking health bar. Flandre down to about 20% HP. AL do not make the same mistake BLG did in game 1. You don't need to fight after the Baron win. They had resets come across. Kyle is not here. Flandre gets a huge rupture, and it sets up Hope to get the first run down onto On, and Tarzan running right at Elk, chomps down on the baby dragon. Knight cannot realm warp out. Shanks is gonna find him just like that. AL get the Baron and the critical fight win. They're running wild on Summoner's Rift.
This is the point at which their composition is so strong. Everybody is online right now for AO, and with the Baron buffs available to them, they're going to be able to push on forwards. It's only Beitron. It's only been available right now. The TP back in from Hanks. They want to go. They want it.
They're going to get the inhibitor down next, and we're going to see if AL really want to go all in for this end right here. 5 versus 3. The wave is starting to thin, but there's the arrow down on to Bin. On has to flash away. Can Bejuan, Bin, and On save the game? One fight. Is that all AL needs to win this game 3? No. They're going to play a bit more measured with Elk respawning and Knight couple seconds away. Good cancel on the unstoppable onslaught. Look at that pillar coming across from Tarzan. Bin doesn't get in. Instead, he meets the double fake death coming across from Shakes. Bin down next. Do AL still want over? Still, they're welcome. 5 versus 3. Because boys, Elk starting to really hit, but he goes into the bailout. Kyle dies, so he goes back up. Can Shakes push out enough of the damage? Knight's trying to hold him on the front side of the fight, but no, he can't get in. Flaundra just ruptured and bleeds BLG down. AL 1 Baron fights all they need. They're on match point for the grand finals.
There we go. AL, all they needed.